So if you've never been to the Outback before, there are a number of things that you might encounter. Our roads, for one thing. Yes, we do have roads out here, maybe not quite as good as our city folk, but the roads out here are often undulating, they're often very narrow, they have soft edges and can certainly fall away, which if you've never encountered them before can give you a little bit of a problem. We have great big road trains out here, so when the road trains are coming in the opposite direction to you, you really need to give them the space on the road, move as far left as possible when it's safe to do so, to avoid any sort of stone damage to your car or your caravan. It's essential to make sure your car and caravan are in a very good condition to be travelling on the Outback roads. It is a good idea to go and get your vehicle and caravan safety checked. You need to consider things like taking 2 extra spare wheels. It is very hard to get replacements when you're travelling out bush, and even if places can order them in for you, that might take a few days for them to get there. A few spare parts for the car if need be. You know, it's handy to be very well prepared. Do you require medication? If so, the Outback towns do not always have a chemist. So you might want to pop along to your local GP and get an extra prescription, get that filled and take it with you to ensure that you've got enough medication for your journey. The biggest mistake that people will often make is panic. So people will hit the brakes really hard or they will swerve very hard. And if you're not used to the side of the road, if it drops off, if you're going to swerve, then obviously it's going to cause you a problem with your caravan or the car going off to the side there. Don't panic, just slow down, nice and steady. Don't swerve, just try and keep a straight on path. We often tell the travellers that we have a big issue with the kangaroos that like to jump out in front of the road, in front of people's cars. We say to people to keep a straight path, don't swerve around the kangaroos. Cars nowadays are generally designed to take the impact at the front. And a lot of cars out here have the bull bars for that reason, because of the animals that you sometimes find in the middle of the road. We do get a lot of hawks and eagles out here. They do like to sit on the road, on the roadkill and the carcasses. They're very stubborn and they won't fly away until the very last moment, and they do take off very slow and will turn straight into your windscreen. So if you do see animals in the middle of the road, just slow down to give them the opportunity to get out of your way. So communication is a big thing out west. Once you leave the little towns, then mobile phone service drops out. UHF radio is an absolute essential to have in your car. All the road train drivers will communicate via channel 40, so if you need to talk to them, if you're struggling to pull off the road to give them some space, just try and talk to the driver. They'll then be able to slow down and maybe move over a little bit too. If you get yourself into some difficulty and you're not in a phone reception area, if you've got a UHF radio, you can scan the channels and you may be able to pick up a nearby farm who will perhaps answer your call and come to assist you. Yeah, there are a lot of unfenced roads, and at the moment with the drought, there are quite a few drovers on the road, so there are stockmen and women walking their cattle, so you'll often see a lot of cattle wandering on the road. Again, you just need to slow down. Try not to beep the horn, it just stirs the cows up. You don't want one in the side of your car. So when you're going to a big event like the Big Red Bash, you have to make allowances for the fact that there's going to be at least 8,000 people, as well as volunteers, that are all going to be having vehicles, wanting fuel. So you need to plan to make sure you have enough fuel. The Outback towns, you may have huge queues to fuel up, and then trying to get to places. If there's 8,000 people trying to leave Birdsville, obviously it's going to take quite some time. If you're not in a hurry, why not sit back for that morning, let the rush go, so to speak, and then leave at leisure a bit later. Police will have a presence on the road, no doubt pulling you over for breath tests or even roadside drug testing. You know, make a plan. You're out there to enjoy yourself. There's no need to be driving anywhere. You know, find yourself a little camp, enjoy the great atmosphere that the Big Red Bash will provide. We also like to advise our travellers to give their itinerary to a family member, a friend, a neighbour, somebody who they will have regular contact with, so that if you don't happen to check in for a couple of days, they'll have a rough idea where you might be, to give the police or the SES or whoever's coming to look for you a rough idea where you might be along the way.